In Psalm 78, verse 41, yes, again and again, they tempted God and limited the Holy One of Israel. So this is a powerful word. It's a very short verse, but the concept is actually mind-blowing, because how can finite creatures, limited man, people like you and me, how can we limit the unmatched, unlimited, powerful God? How can this even be possible? What is this about? What did the psalmist allude to? What is this that God can be limited? What is that? All of you on this call, if you open your heart, you will have a visitation from God. And every visitation from God, it's a door opener to something that you never knew existed for you. God has already put you right now, as you're listening to this word, he has put you in a process. That's what God was telling Abraham. Abraham, next year, I'm going to return to you, and Sarah, your wife, will have a son. And everybody on this call, you know, it takes a process for you to give birth to a son. So when God announces a word that is in future tense, it doesn't mean that he's not doing anything in the present. As I'm sharing this word, as you connecting, I want to tell you that some of the words that you will hear will speak about where God is taking you. But just because it's in future tense, it doesn't mean that God is not moving right now. In fact, the product is in a future tense, but the process is always present. What is too hard for the Lord? Not just impossible. It's easy for God to do the impossible. God doesn't sweat to do the impossible. I want to tell everybody on the call that the Lord that we serve, that the one that you have come to connect to, he doesn't sweat to do the impossible. It's not hard for the Lord to open a new door for you. It's not hard for the Lord in this 8th month of this year to do something fresh for you. It's not hard for the Lord, not according to your means, but according to his means. I believe with all my heart that God sent me with a word in this season to tell somebody, it's true, your faith is important, but I want to tell you that even your faith is not a bar to what God can do. Nothing is too hard for the Lord. Nothing is impossible with the Lord. So now, if this unmatched God or matchless God, this powerful God, has all this that he can do, how can we limit God? Let me take a pause here and tell everybody on the call, I don't know if you're ready for this word, but it's going to be a bit challenging. I'll be touching certain things in your life. I will be touching certain attitude in your life that will stop you from flying with God to the altitude that he wants you to get to. Because your attitude is everything if you want to go far with God. So that's what it's about in Psalm 78. And God is saying, tell my people, if they don't correct their attitude, they're going to limit themselves. They're not going to limit me. But it's going to sound as if you're limiting God. That's why many of these guys that got out of Egypt, not all of them stepped into the promised land. Even Moses, and I'll tell you more about it tomorrow. Help us to learn, oh God, from those who preceded us, and help us to learn and grow and go in the name of Jesus. We will not limit God. We will not limit God.